Hi, I'm Connor. Back in the truck for another day out at the property. A shorter day today, but staying for 2 days. I'm not going to get there until almost 11 a.m., so that means I only have 4 or 5 daylight hours today, but I'm also going to be there all day tomorrow. So the plan of the day is to start building the shed proper now that we have the platform in place. The shed was delivered on Monday. It's now Thursday, and I get to actually see what this kit is all about. It comes with all the raw materials and the building plans, but obviously still need to cut the lumber, and I have never built a kit of this scale before. I've done smaller stuff, but this is a pretty big shed. It's 8 by 12, and so it's going to be a little bit more significant than what I've done before. And we'll see how it goes. I'll be there in about half an hour, and we're gonna have some lunch when we get there, and then a quick skim over the build plans. Hopefully I can decipher them pretty easily, and hopefully everything was delivered. Everything's there and nothing's missing. We'll do you gotta sort the materials and make sure that everything's good to go, and then get started. It's snow/raining today, so it's not going to be the nicest conditions to be building, but we'll see how it goes. I found this old tripod with a phone mount in the closet at home, so I can actually set it up and maybe get some time lapses of doing the build and not just update in between steps. So hopefully we can get some of that into this video and have some fun with it. So let's go. Cottage time. The shed kit was delivered, so it's in 3 chunks of stuff. We've got a couple of bits and bobs over here. So it came with some flower planters for the windows themselves, the rooster weather vane that goes on top, which is funny. Got all the fasteners and caulking and stuff, brackets, and then over here we've got a pallet with the door and some shingles, and then over here we've got looks like some soffit and some fascia for the roof, drip edge, and some other, not sure what the rest of those metal bits are. Some pressure treated boards, not exactly sure what those are for. But then you've got floor joists, 2x3s for framing. On the bottom there's some sheathing, then there's that beige stuff which is the siding, and then I think floor panels as well. So everything seems to be here. I'm gonna take some time and look over the construction drawings and see how to get started. Looking forward to it. Okay, look at that, a tripod. That's pretty cool. All right, so I've taken a look at the build plans, and they're actually fairly straightforward. We start with the floor, 2x6 joists with 2x6 rim boards, and then frame the walls, do the roof, rafters, and then sheathing, and then siding and shingles. It's about what I expected. Before we start, I'm going to put on this new miter saw blade, because the one I've got there is several years old and dull as hell and just doesn't make good cuts. So I'm going to figure out how to do that, because I've never actually done it on this saw before, and then we'll get started from there. Alright, got the saw blade swapped out, and now it's time to start building the floor. This should be probably the easiest part. And I think I can probably get it done before it gets dark. The sun's actually out right now, which is nice. And the snow / rain stopped. I've just been going through all of the fasteners and whatnot that came with the shed kit. And been going over the plans. Fairly straightforward, so we're gonna get started. So I've got the rim boards in place. I made a silly mistake at the beginning, and I put one of the 8-footers on the outside of the 12-footers instead of inside. So the rim is laminated all around. So next up will be the floor joists with hangers. So I'm going to take a quick break, have some coffee, and then I'm going to get started on that. Got about 2.5 hours of sunlight left, so I'm going to try to get it all done before it gets dark. Got the floor joists cut and marked 16 on center. Now the super fun and definitely not repetitive job of putting in 16 joist hangers, 4 nails a piece. You can do the math. Let's do it. Put the plywood on top, and then probably gonna run out of light. That'll be it for the day. halfway done the joist hangers. I've done this side. Now I gotta go do that side. I'm gonna take a break and walk the dogs so that they get a good walk in before it gets dark. I have a headlamp so I can always finish up a little bit after the sun goes down. And yeah, gotta let them have a romp and get some good exercise. So I'm gonna go do that and then get back to the other half of the floor joists. While I was doing the floor joists or the joist hangers on this side, I realized that this post was a little bit crooked. Like it was leaning to this side just a little bit. So in that time lapse, you'll see that I undid a couple of those nails, booped it over to make it straight up and down, because you don't want that weight being pushed down onto a crooked post. Otherwise your whole thing's gonna get all wonky after a couple of months or years. So better safe than sorry, and better do it right the first time. But since I didn't do it right the first time, better to fix it before you put the floor sheathing on. So yeah, glad I spotted that. Alright, so it's dark, but I did get the last of the joist hangers done. So we are done with all the joists. In the morning I'm going to get the sheathing out for the floor, put that on, and then maybe we'll even frame a wall. I think that would be a really good goal. It's really dark now and I need to make some dinner, so that's it for today. The new saw blade worked out really well. It was very noticeable. That's what happens when you don't change your saw blade for like 3 years. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's morning. I'm gonna get back to it. The first order of business is to get the floor sheathing on onto the floor joists. And in order to do that, I have to unstack all the pallets that are on the driveway, because the plywood is at the bottom, and also we need to get the car over towards the outlet so that we can charge it, because my partner got here late last night and it's cold, so EVs don't love that. So let's get started with that. Alright, first time actually using the outlet for the EV charger. Got it installed like 2 months ago, and first time actually using it, but it works, so that's awesome. All right, one thing to do before we get back to it is that this saw is currently sitting on my table saw base, and it's actually not meant to do that, so the legs are barely sitting on there and it keeps slipping, and which is obviously not safe for a saw. So I'm going to grab some scrap wood and just build a little platform for this, and then the pallet that the shingles and stuff came on, I'm going to stick it under there, give it a little bit more height and flatten it out a little bit, just try to make things a bit more stable for the rest of the build. And there we go, got a nice miter station now and a good place to put the toolbox, and it's somewhat level thanks to those blocks under the low corner. I think that'll be a nice place to work for the next couple of weekends while we're building the shed. So now we're going to do some stringers, or blocking as they call it in the plans, just to even everything out. We're going to put a couple final nails in, and then we're going to tack the floor joists onto the foundation joists just to make everything a little bit more rigid. And we're also going to center it so that everything is exactly where we want it, and then we'll put the floor sheathing on. Let's go. Stringers are in, so now it's time to have some lunch. Staggered them all the way along, so that'll keep the floor joists from wiggling. And then we're gonna tack the floor joists to the foundation joists, and that will kind of act like stringers or blocking for the foundation joists to stop them from wobbling, because when I was stepping on them, like, they definitely do wobble. So that'll give it a bit of structural rigidity, and then we can put the floor sheathing on. Lunch has been had, so it's time to finish this dang floor. Only have about 2 hours left, and then we're heading out for the weekend to visit some family, so gotta finalize all of this and get that sheathing on. Let's try to do it quickly. Alright, so I had to add some ad hoc blocking just to support the edges a little bit better. 'Cause for some reason I didn't think to get my floor joists just right. AirPods are working, so you can hear what I'm saying, but just added a couple extra little mini joists underneath to hopefully touch edges of the just like that. And then that is floor done. That's all the sheathing. And it's not perfectly square, it's off by about half an inch. But over the course of 14 to 16 foot diagonal, I don't particularly care that much. So that's it for today. I'm gonna go pack up and get ready to go visit some family. So I'm going to put everything away, and yeah, we'll come back next weekend to start framing up some walls, which I'm pretty excited for. I wanted to do maybe 2 walls today, but there's just no time, so I'm gonna call it here. Thanks for watching. Cheers.